Welcome down on your mats today. So just for the sake of the recording, we are on a teacher training, and we're going to practice a class with the first part being a little bit flow, and then the last part more slow. And of course, wrapping up with Shavasana or resting pose at the end. But first, getting settled on our mat. So find a way that you can sit comfortably, somewhat comfortably. We are going to use our blocks today, so if you want to sit on the blocks to open up your hips even more, do that. Straps is also a tool that we're going to use today. So place your hands on your knees or thighs. Sit tall. And maybe take a huge inhale and exhale out through your mouth. Right now is your time to breathe. To be in God's presence. And with your breath, you might pray God on your inhale. And on exhale, here I am. On your inhale, God. On your exhale, here I am. And in our session today, we will go to the story of David and Goliath. But I'll get more into that in a bit. Seated cat-cows. Lean your way back. So move your shoulders forward, your spine back. Maybe take a hold of your knees not to fall back. And then move your belly, your chest forward, nose reaching up, shoulder blades squeezed together. And we'll move with our breath. So you exhale, maybe using your Ujjayi breath as you move back. Inhale, open up your chest. And maybe you continue with the prayer, God, here I am. And if you don't have a huge faith in God, you can still just say the words and see what happens. Awesome. The next time you sit with a straight spine or passes a straight spine, just sit up tall and then release your legs. Move them to the front. Knees bended, hands behind your sitting bones. And then you move in your windshield, I think it's called, from side to side. Massaging your glutes. Let's sit up again. Do a little bit of movements with your wrist as we're going to move into downward facing dog in a minute. So we want our wrists to be a little bit warm. You can even fold your hands and do circles if you like. Yeah. All right, let go. Downward facing dog. Spread your fingers out. Maybe pinky finger reach the outer edge of the mat. Lift up your hip. Feet back. You're standing in a kind of a triangle pose. Bending one knee as we want to open up our legs. And remember to breathe. And there really is no right or wrong posture here. It's just about moving and, of course, not hurting yourself. All right, take one large step up with your right leg. Move it up and back, three-legged dog, right leg lifts. And then slowly bend your knees. Keep it underneath your belly for a plank just for a second, still moving the leg forward, and then maybe stepping it through. You can lift your right hand to make space to lift the foot down. Now grab your block, just one of them, and place it aligned with the front foot. Place your left hand on the block. It might be the short end or the half short end. And then we twist, lift up, right arm towards the sky. Let your hip sink a little bit low. And then move your pinky fingers, or your whole hand actually back, but the pinky finger below towards the back leg. Yeah. Then inhale your arm up. And exhale, move your thumb towards the floor. You don't have to reach, just a little bit down. Inhale, move your arm up. And exhale, move it back. One more time, inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale, framing the foot, both hands on the mat. Step it to the front end of your mat. Fold forward. You might move your block a little bit. Bend your knees as you lean forward. Relax your neck. Sway from side to side, still warming up a little bit in our bodies. Vertebrae by vertebrae, moving into mountain pose, standing tall. Let your arms grow out to the side like a flower opening up. Reaching up towards the sky, looking up. Spread out your fingers, make yourself tall. Arms out to the side as you lean forward again. Reaching with the floor with the fingers, half lift. You can bend your knees. And then move to your plank. Fingers down on the mat. Step your feet back. And maybe this first time I'd advise you to do your knees. Belly in as you move your chest down on the mat. Move your elbows towards your feet. Lifting your chest up. And notice where your shoulders are. Try to move them to the ears. Not that comfortable. Move them back and down. And then tuck your toes under, use your core, and lift up to downward facing dog again. This time, left leg have the honor of being moved up. And then bend your knee, take it underneath your belly, slowly moving into a plank. Doing this in a kind of a slow-mo tempo. And then eventually stepping it down on the mat, knee and ankle above each other. As we did before, we'll use our block for our right hand, block aligned with the front foot. And we'll use the block even though we don't feel like we have to, just because we want to try a block practice. Twisting, left arm moves up. And try to notice the alignment between your shoulders stacking above each other, up, and hands as well. And then move your hands back, pinky finger reaching down. Again, follow the breath. Inhale, arm up. Exhale, move your hands down, thumb pointing down. Inhale, lift up. And exhale down. All the way again. One last time, up and down. Reaching your hand up and then framing the foot. Once again, step it to the front end of your mat. Let go of the block. Hand fold forward. Bend your knees, find your chair pose. We will get back to this one. Chair pose, arms reaching up. And remember, toes and knees aligned. And if you look down, you might be able to see your toes so that your knees doesn't come too much forward. And then our mountain pose. Try to see if you can let your hands do a prayer pose or just hold your underarm. Prayer pose behind to stretch your back, but be a little bit gentle. So David is going into war with Goliath, and there's lots of things going on here, but I just want to read one single verse here. David says to Goliath as they're standing on the field ready to battle each other, "This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands." And before that it says, "You come against me," David says, "with sword and spear and javelin. But I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied." So in what name do David come in? In the name of the Lord the Almighty. The Creator. So maybe let's use these next couple of sun salutations. You can take your arms down by your side as a way of saying thank you, or just worshiping God for being almighty. Let's do one sun salutation A to begin with. Take your arms above your head, inhale. Exhale, arms out to the side, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plank to low plank. So you take your hands down, step your feet back, and this might not work all on one in exhale, but never mind. Lift your chest up, inhale, cobra. And exhale, tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. One breath in down dog. Heels sinking towards the mat. On your inhale, jump or walk gently to the front end of your mat. Fold forward, exhale. Inhale, high mountain. And let's just do one more time. Exhale, you should lean forward. Enjoy your breath, maybe. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plank to low plank. Elbows down by your ribs. Inhale, lift your chest. Maybe you want to do your up dog where the hip is off the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Again, one breath. Step or jump to the one front end of your mat. Fold forward. Exhale. Inhale, high mountain. And exhale, just mountain, hands down by your side. Sun salutation B. Inhale, take your chair, move your hip back. Let's just stay here for a breath, so we'll try to take a little bit slow. Move forward, maybe with some kind of stretched leg. You don't have to go all the way. Relax your neck. From this part, we know it all. Halfway lift, plank to low plank. You might want to use your breath here. Again, chest lifting up, cobra up dog, downward facing dog. So here, worshiping not the sun, but the creator of the sun. Take your right leg, lift it all the way up towards the sky. Breathe. And then step it through to the front end of your mat. Make sure knee and ankle are above each other. Warrior one. So we have that back foot 45 degrees out to the side. Hips closed, look forward. And some are fast. Lift up in warrior one. From here, we close our hip and maybe sink a little bit more forward. Awesome. Stepping it back, just 3 downward facing dog. So lift the heel up, step back. Opposite side, doing exactly the same. Left leg, lift it up, take a breath here. Sink the heel low on your right side. And then step it through. Awesome. Lower the back foot down 45 degree. Take a look at it. It might be a little bit more like Warrior 2. It's not supposed to be Warrior 2 foot. Yes. Lift up. Close your hip. Let your thigh reach a little bit towards each other. And then we do our Vinyasa. Take an inhale. And exhale. It's going to be a long one. Step it back. Plank to low plank. Lift your chest. Inhale. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Take a breath. Maybe you need to move your feet. Step a jump. Inhale to the front of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, mountain, hands down by your side. One more time with the pace of our breath. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plank to low plank. Inhale, cobra up dog. Remember your shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Awesome. Right leg, inhale, lift it up. Exhale, step it through. Lower down the back foot. Inhale, warrior 1. Exhale, find your down dog. Inhale, left leg, elevate it up towards the sky. Step it through. Exhale. Inhale, warrior 1. And then we do on Vinyasa. Exhale, plank to low plank. You are doing a good job and hoping you're getting really warm, nice and warm. Cobra up dog, downward facing dog. One breath. Step a jump to the front end of your mat. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Chair pose. Inhale. Exhale, mountain. Breathe. Maybe close your eyes. So if God would have a name today, would it be God the Almighty? A God that disappeared? God the angry? God all loving? Or what? Open your eyes and take your arms above your head. And normally we could wrap our palms together, but this time we try to kind of cross our hands and let our palms reach, if we can, crossed. Awesome. Try not to lean back, but stand tall, hip underneath ourselves, or pelvis underneath ourselves. And then take your right leg and lift it up. Maybe you want to go for a stretch leg. I don't know how adventurous you feel today. But let's move into Warrior 3. Navel in and slowly move your right leg back. Take a look at the ground. Really, really looking at the ground. Hands moving forward. If this is feeling unsafe, just release your hands. Awesome. Lower down your foot. Take your arms above your head. Still cross-legged if you can, or crossed-armed. Lunge, crescent lunge, bent low, stretch the back knee. And then move your hands to your right side, I was supposed to say. So to the window side for most parts. Stretching the side of the body. Hip flexors. Breathe. Move it back. Release your arms out to the side and stretch out like you're pulling something away from yourself. Flex your palms or your hands. Reaching down, framing our foot again. Take both blocks this time. Maybe for the high end, maybe just for the middle high end. We're going to do a wide-legged pyramid pose. So take your blocks, walk them back. Stretch both legs as much as possible. Again, it's not a competition. Front foot on the ground, back heel, reaching a little bit down. Move your hip in between your knees or your heels or your legs, and let your forehead sink towards the front head or the front leg. Again, lift your head off, bend the front knee again. Walk your blocks a little bit further here to the front. Let your right block, move it away, left hand on the outer edge of left foot. Yes. Turn the back foot around, warrior two poses with the feet, but we're going to do triangle. So stretch the front leg without moving your hip back. Take a look at your heels. Are they somewhat aligned? Yeah? And if the block is not tall enough, you might reach for your hand, but go for a triangle pose. Reach up through your right shoulder, arm moves up. Use a lot of energy pushing your hip underneath yourself so it's aligned with the heels. Awesome. Bend the knee again. Both hands on the ground. You might take your blocks a little bit away. Release the back heel off the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Sight some things out. If you want to, do your Vinyasa flow. If not, just stay in down dog. If you do a Vinyasa flow, you would inhale in your plank. Exhale, lift your lower down. Inhale, lift your chest, breathe in. Exhale, downward facing dog. One breath. Step or jump to the front end of your mat again. Fold forward. High mountain. Take your arms out to the side. And palms together, and then cross. If you just automatically took one hand behind the other, try to go the other way around. That might be a little bit difficult, actually. Have to think about it. You notice where your shoulders are. Are they lifted? Or do you take them a little bit down? All right. Kick your left leg forward. Keeping it bent, or go for a stretched leg. Breathe. Move it back. Warrior three, and it might be a different experience on this side. Flex your foot, hips are closed. Stay tall, stay long. One more big breath. Smile. And lower down the foot at the back end of the mat, Crescent Lunge. So bend the front knee, move your whole body a little bit forward. Tall spine. And then we'll do our side stretch. If we can keep the balance, move to your right side. No arching our back as we do this. So pelvis underneath ourselves. Maybe looking up if you feel adventurous and can keep your balance. Releasing, go, framing the foot, maybe with a side. Both blocks involved. One and the other, step it back. And if this is still too much, you can always shorten the distance in between your feet. No worries there. Feet's pointing at the long end of the mat. Fold forward, stretching hamstrings, calves. Small micro bend in the back knee. Lift your head off the front leg. Walk your blocks forward again, bending the front knee. Now you let go of the left hand block. Turn the back foot, heels again aligned. Warrior 2 feet, I call it. Open up the block so that you have it on the tall end, probably. Straighten the front leg. Not warrior. Triangle pose. Now the shoulder that's up, try to move it a little bit back. That would be the left shoulder, I guess. Really opening up your chest as you inhale and exhale. And let go. Look down. Release the heel off the mat. Step it back. Downward facing dog. We are gonna end up right now in child's pose, but if you choose to do a vinyasa flow before that, more than welcome. So do your vinyasa or just bend your knees. Get some distance in between them. Let your hip sink back towards your heel. And rest your forehead on the ground. So, stay here for a while, take a drink if you're thirsty. And we'll slow down and do a little bit more slow sequence. In the story with Goliath and David, I think the traditional way of looking at it is that Goliath is the bad guy, and David, the young hero, coming to rescue the day in the name of the Lord. But maybe we know both Goliath and David. Goliath wasn't just a big guy. He trusted in the wrong things. So what did he trust in? He trusted in his own power, trusted in his sword, his competences on the battlefield. And David trusted in the Lord. Reach your fingers really long to the long end of the mats and lift up and down dog. We're not going to stay here for a long time. So just lift up and down dog. And let's just walk very slowly just to do it. So slow walk your feet to the front end of your mat. We have around 15 seconds before we reach the front end of your mats. And if you're kind of there, lean a little bit more forward. Stretching the back legs a little bit. We are gonna do more hamstring stretch in a second. So let's just prepare those hamstrings. And then mountain pose. We're gonna use a strap. So find a strap, a scarf or something if you don't have a strap back home. So now we're gonna play a little bit. See if we trust our balance. So fold your strap out and then find your right foot. So step on the strap. Right hand reaches and holds the strap. And then we're going to extend the leg to the front end of our mat. So kind of like pulling in a fish, I would say. I'm not a fisherman, but like drawing, lifting up, take your foot up. And if this is really hard, and it is especially for me, you might want to take your left arm out to the side. Notice where your hip is. It tends to move out to the side, so keep it aligned with the heel, with the shoulder. Breathe. And look down on the ground. Open up the leg. Maybe you want to lift the heel up or the leg up a little bit higher when we open up our hip to the side. And this is really hard, so be patient with yourself. Notice how you breathe and how your glutes might become really sore right now. Close your hip, move your leg to the front end of your mat, just trying to do our best. Slowly release and let the foot reach down. How did that feel? Keep your strap, move your hands above your head. You might want to fold it as we have pretty long straps, most of us. Thumbs pointing together, then lean back and like you're pulling a strap away from each other. Open up your chest. And you might shorten the distance on your strap, whatever works. Small bend in your elbows. Navel a little bit in, small micro bend in the legs. Open up. Use your core as you straighten your spine again. And take your strap to the front, moving into the other side. Step on your strap with your left leg and slowly move it up. And maybe also here, just noticing if you trust yourself, or if you already, when you notice what we're going to do, said, oh, I can't do that. And probably then you can't. So think, yeah, I'm going to try. I'm going to be adventurous. Maybe I can. Long, deep inhales all the way to the belly. This is where we regret doing slow yoga. Take your leg out to the side. Again, option of lifting a little bit higher. I know some of us might be able to reach our toes, but still, try to use the strap. And don't look at me because I am not stable. Okay, move it back. Woo. And release. Side it out. Take your strap behind you. Pinky fingers towards each other. You're going to fold forward with a stretch. This would be the one that we normally do with the fingers crossed. So again, distance in between the straps, different from shoulder to shoulder. Lean forward, take your arms down and back behind you. Some of us would typically hyperextend our elbows, so try not to do that. And not to kind of, what does that mean? Straighten out your wrists a little bit. Yes, beautiful, Lily. So bend a little bit in the elbows there. Yes. And try to avoid just pushing your arms down. Let gravity do its magic here. Awesome. Let go of the strap. Stand tall. Shoulders back. Close your eyes in mountain pose. Just keep your strap in your hand. Open up the eyes again. One last pose, because it's a little bit of a theme with a strap. Dancer's pose. And this is really awesome if you have a long strap, so that's good. So let's try again to step on our right, or step on the strap with our right leg. And then move the strap behind you. Take a hold of it with your right hand. Move it behind you. Now, if you don't have a long strap, you'll probably just go for something like this. And then lean more forward. But if you happen to have a long strap and you feel like, yes, I want to try this, you need the foot here to hold the strap. Take both hands above your head, reach for the strap. Now this kind of demands a little bit of concentration and balance. So lean forward, kicking your foot into your strap, holding your strap, leaning forward. And breathing a whole lot. We don't want to open up our hip. We want to move our leg back bend. You're doing such a good job. Just try. I don't think David was just miraculously good at using the sling. Of course, God helped him. But I think he practiced the sling a lot, as we practice here on our yoga mat. Awesome. All right. Slowly come out of it. This is not a sequence. We are just going to do it on the other side. So left leg, move it back. And you might shorten the distance on the strap if you want to get more flexible in your back. So kick your legs back, bend your elbows. Lean a little bit forward. Stretch the front leg. Powerful breath. Steady gaze. Smile on your face. Say something nice to yourself when you fall. One last breath. Beautiful. Let go. Time to release the strap down and lean forward. Stretching the other direction of our core. Then bend your knees a little bit and step your right leg back on the mat. Right leg back. Wide-legged forward fold, or a part of it at least. So turn on your mat so we will all be facing the white wall or at least most parts of us. Okay, I'll be standing on my mat for the sake of the video. Toes pointing in, and let your head reach down. Now, if you feel adventurous, you might want to go for a headstand from here, okay? It is possible. And you can just do a headstand also if you want. But if you want, head down. It will be a tripod headstand. Headstand, so head and hands in a triangle. Lift your feet out to the ground, off the ground, and lift up. And slowly come down again if you can. And then lift your head off the ground. Maybe walking your feet a little bit closer towards each other, just a little bit. Toes this time aligned with the short end of the mat. And then we're gonna walk forward. And I hope you don't walk into each other, okay? So step it forward, lift the heels off the mat and find kind of a wide-legged plank. Navel in. And maybe take a look at your hip. Is it somewhat aligned with the shoulders? Maybe a little bit further down. If your hip, your back is okay, you might want to lower your hip a little bit more and then get your up dog in a wide-legged position. But please be mindful. Don't go as low as you can. Use your core. Lift up again. This time, both hands really firmly on the ground. Lift your left leg off the mat and move it behind the right leg. Maybe just stay here or lift up left arm as well. Find a version of a side plank. Both hands down on the ground again. Step it back again. Wide-legged stand, and of course opposite side. Now if this is too much, you can always go with your knee down, step it through, and move your leg back on your knees, a little bit more soft on your shoulders and wrists. Step it back, and let's move our core and everything back. Heels on the ground again. I'm gonna call Elvis it. I can't tell you why I want to call it that, but I just do. Toes pointing out, and we stand a little bit further with our feet than our hip. Sink down, bend your knees, open up, and really do this kind of a pose. Cactus hands. Engage your root lock. And pelvis tucked underneath ourselves. Awesome. Stretch your legs, lift your hands up, and move to your left side. Side stretch. Hands in distance like a ball or something, big ball. Exercise ball, move up again. Go to your right side. Coming down. Move your feet just a little bit closer. Yoga squat. We are slowing down. So sit down, hips down. Maybe your glutes can reach the heels, maybe not, depending on the conditions of your knees. But this is not a power pose. This is supposed to be somewhat relaxing. So the further the hips comes down, the easier it will be on your thighs. And if you want to do the crane or the crawl pose, handstand, go ahead, play with it. Stay in the crawl pose or your yoga squat. Moving your heels away from each other with your elbows, or your knees away from each other. Okay, release, sit down on the mat. Feet pointing to the long end. Staff posture for a second. Grab your strap. We're going to use it again for some stretches now. Come down on your back. Once again, we are gonna pull our leg, but this time, much less effort. So, take a hold of your right leg with your strap. both hands on the strap. Now your left leg might be bended if your hips are a little bit tight, but if you want to feel it more or just get a little bit deeper into your hip, you can stretch out the left leg as well. So pull on your right leg. Some people choose to bend their knees a little bit. So moving back to the story. When you go to work every day, in what name do you go to work? Do you go to work trusting your own head, own body, competences? Or do you first of all come in the name of the Lord, the Almighty? We're going to open up our hip, which means you will just hold the strap with your right hand. Your left hand moves out on the ground, away from the foot, as we will move our leg out to the side. So right leg out to right side. Opening up, we're going to stay on our spine or on our back, so we will not tilt over. There's an option of letting the strap grow a little bit longer or shorter by pulling your toes further towards your head. Pull your leg back. We wouldn't stay there for long because it's a little bit hard. But then we'll move now into spinal twist. So left hand on the strap. And kind of cross your leg over yourself and move your right leg to your left side. Coming this time all the way onto your hip, like you're resting on the side of your bed. The hand not holding a strap, opposite side of the foot or the leg. Moving back on our spine and letting go, strap off the foot. Reaching strap for the left foot. And remember just because you could do something with one side, your hip did something there, it's not maybe the same on the left side. So again, pull the leg in, maybe stretching out right leg as well. Relax your shoulders. Small bend in your elbows, or even a large bend in your elbows. Time to open up the hip. Left leg on top, left hand holds the strap. Right arm out to reach the floor so you don't tilt over, else you pull or move your leg, left leg to your left side. Move your leg back, spinal twist, right hand on the strap, and maybe you move a little bit to your left side of the mat if you don't want to roll all off it. Come onto your side. Make sure that foot reaches down. If it doesn't, bend your knee or even take a block underneath your kneecap to soften. We don't want to use our muscles in our hips and in our glutes here. Then we can't stretch. Left arm out. Nose pointing up, eyes closed. Surrender your breath. And maybe you're all to God. Having a Goliath trust and a David trust is probably something that we will have to encounter or surrender to every single day. Who am I trusting today? All right. Move back on your back. Let go of the strap. We will not be using it anymore. If you feel cold or getting a little bit chilly, you might want to reach for your socks or something like it. I will invite you to use your blocks again for the last time right now. We're gonna move into resting pose in just a minute. Resting on our blocks is a beautiful thing if you want to open up your chest. So if to make that happen, you will put your block, not seated, but rested down. I'm just going to show you where to put it. Something around here, someplace around here. So you put it down on the mat, somewhere where you guess it fits. The other block can be used as a kind of a pillow, so you can place that there. And then lay down, and then you might scooch a little bit around to find the right place. It's not supposed to hurt. Let your arms reach out to the side, maybe even above your head, palms reaching up. If you can stay here comfortably for 1 minute, do that, and then move out of the pose. Close your eyes. And try to let your body melt over the blocks. In a surgery, you will hopefully, most surgeries at least, not be awake. You will be unconscious. Your brain will be working, but you will not notice what's going on. And sometimes I think the same happens here. God is doing a heart surgery. But I don't need to figure out what it is or feel a specific thing or understand it. I can just be here, inhaling God, exhaling, here am I. finish our time, just stay down with a prayer. God, help us trust in your provision, in your goodness, and in your planning. Today and every day. Amen. Wriggle toes and fingers. And if you're still on your blocks, you'll roll out to one side, kind of rolling off the blocks. And either stay in fetus pose, bend your knees, or just move your equipment to the side and roll back on your spine. Hug your knees in. And notice how nice it is to have a straight spine. And if your eyes are not open yet, you might want to open them up. That was hard to say. And then move into a seated pose. So come into a seated pose. Comfortable seated, whatever it looks like. From my heart to your heart, thank you for joining my class today.